Hello and welcome. This is Jim Kaufman with Rankin Technical College. This video is about the midterm for the Fall 2025 Web Technologies course. The midterm is going to be about redesigning the Belleville Running Club website. So first, I just kind of wanted to go over the current website, the functionality here on this. So this was made with a earlier version of Bootstrap, plus some other technologies. It's based on a template, and it's fine for you to go ahead and use a template as well. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But for this website, this is actually a one-page website. So the navigation's right here. So you've got the home, you got weekly group runs, and you've got this Couch 2.5 training. Home is just obviously the top here. Then we have the weekly group runs, weekly group runs, and then we have this Couch 2.5 training. So this is basically the whole website. But there are some links to external functionality, to like buy gear and so forth, or join and renew your BRC membership. So just going to click on a few of these. So this is going to go to this. This is a service that was set up for this club, for this running club. And so this isn't something you will change or anything. You'll just have to make sure you link to it the same as it's being linked to currently. And then they also have the buy BRC, which stands for Belleville Running Club Gear. And let's bring that up real quick here. So here's the different gear that's available. Once again, this is through a third-party company, so you don't have to do anything except link to it. You do want to bring these links up in a separate window though, right? You know how we do _blank on the anchor to bring it up in a separate window. So you want to make sure you do that. Also, I'm going to point out a couple times here just to make sure that you realize. So the logo is the BRC logo here, just like up here at the top, BRC. And so as far as your redesign goes, you're going to want to stick with this same logo, because a lot of the merchandise has that logo on it. So we're going to kind of stick with that. Okay. Let me close that. So that one was the buy gear, those two links. And then if we come down here to the weekly runs, I don't think, let's see what this is. This is just the Long Story Coffee. That's where they meet, right? And then down here you've got some where you can buy your different tiers, and all of these go to a third-party website. So all you have to do is make sure you include those as well. And that is about it. So now when you decide to do a redesign of this, the important thing is you kind of want to keep most of the content here is important, but you can reformat this content, make it look different. Like I said, you want to make sure you keep up here, there's the icon. You know how we do the favicons that go into the tab and stuff like that, or if you bookmark the page. So we want to make sure we stick with that icon. Now you can put these, if you do want to do multiple pages, that's okay. This one was just set up as a single page. And another thing here is, so there's some images and things like that here, background images and so forth. So if I right click on this and do a view page source, as you can see that this was, here's basically the asset. So a lot of these templates that get created, they they have a directory. Part of the template is having assets folder, and under there they have images, so forth, right? Under here they got assets CSS, but you're not going to be using this this Bootstrap CSS, okay? You're not going to be using this current one, but you will want to go ahead and save this off. So an easy way to do this, because there's not a lot in here, you can click on this, and then you can just right click in here and then save image as, okay? And just save this image, drop that into your directory structure, okay? Let's close that. So let's see what else we have in here. There is this video here. So you can pretty much do the same thing on here. Save video as. So you can kind of save all this, even if you don't use it. Maybe you want to save it for now. There's not a lot to download, so you can kind of grab what you need to grab there. So here, probably the biggest thing, I think everything's going to be under assets. So let's just do a find on assets. It's got 21 of them, logo, the mint. So we're not going to be worrying about the CSS stuff. This was made with a template. Here's actually the template, the example template that was used. So you're going to want to do something different. And we'll talk about templates here in a little bit. You can either use a template. It's encouraged you to use a template, but if you want to do it just by from scratch using just Bootstrap, what you've learned, that's fine as well. Here's the assets. And so we already got the image. Grabbing the image, we've seen that. Grabbing the video. Let's see what else is in here. It has some other, maybe some of the stuff you don't necessarily want. This is more for design related stuff there. You may not want all of these. Okay, that's commented out. Them are all commented out. As we continue here, the jQuery stuff, you're not going to be worrying about that. This is really all part of that template, this current template, and so this is not going to be relevant for you. Okay, let's see what else here. And I guess that was kind of it. So really there isn't a lot of images or different assets, so to speak. Images, there's a couple images, a video, etc. Not a lot there, so you can just grab those. Now something else though you can do is you can use some other we have some other sites where the Belleville Running Club was kind of marketed at. So here's Facebook here, and let me grab that real quick here. So here's the Facebook site for Belleville Running Club. So you can use any of the content here, any of the photos. There's all kinds of different photos here. You click on photos here. So here's a ton of different photos. If you're interested in grabbing any of this, maybe you can make a slideshow or whatever. That's up to you. So just kind of give you some options here, so you can put some things together for your site. Instagram, same thing, and I'll give you the links to these. So here's also some photos here on Instagram as well. So you may want to include something here. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is templates. So Bootstrap Made has some really good quality templates, and they can be free. Obviously, there's some trade-offs when you use a free one. You can't customize things as much. You can make your own changes to it, but there's more options. Obviously, if you got kind of you pay for the premium levels and stuff like that. But so one that could be kind of good for the kind of thing we're working on here, either sports, sports or a race, or events, things like that. So I'm going to just go ahead and search for events here. so just you can go through all these different ones, and they don't have to be events. You can use any kind of a template in here. You can play around, look at the different ones. They don't necessarily have to be events. Something else you might like that really catches your eye, feel free to do it. Okay, this one here, what I kind of liked about this one is it's kind of a, it's about an event, right? Event and conference. It is, in most of these templates that Bootstrap made, they're actually using the latest version of Bootstrap. That's kind of why I really like Bootstrap made ones. And so let's kind of just take a quick look here. So if I click on this, as you can see, this was last updated September 6th. It's built with Bootstrap 5.3.8, which is wonderful because that's the current version. And you can do a live demo, take a look at it. And so this one here is a single page one. So you click on this, for the most part it is. There's your about, here's your schedule, and it's just going down, as you can see on the right-hand side, the scrolling. So it's just going down to different places within the page, which is, the single page is very similar to the Belleville one because this is also a single page as well. You don't necessarily have to do a single page. You can do separate pages if you want. Just that's an option there, and this one kind of follows that single page style. So you've got this. So for this one, you can actually, I went ahead and downloaded this earlier. I'll go ahead and download this again. So here's your options, obviously, if you want to pay for some things. Usually a lot of these bootstraps are for someone who's building sites for other people. And so they kind of pay for them, right? But for our purposes, we're just using this for a personal project, really. So you can just do a free download here and download it. So I'm going to go ahead and just click download. It's downloading that. I think it's done actually. So one thing you're going to do here, and I kind of downloaded a couple times here because I was looking at it a little bit. Let me get rid of these. So eventually you can. I just have mine in my download folder here. You can look at, play around, look at things, see how you think you might want to do it. But eventually you're going to want to get it in your midterm directory, in your source, in your GitHub repository. Okay. But for right now, I'm just going to look at it right here. So kind of the first thing we want to do, we want to extract this. So let's get rid of that. So I'm just going to extract this into this folder in the downloads folder. So here it is. And for now, I'm just going to go right click on here, show more options, open with code. And we'll take a look at this. And so sort of like how that other template was, they used basically the assets, right? Assets, so you got CSS, images, and JavaScript. So if you find something you like and you want to use, be careful deleting stuff, but you want to go ahead and at least at a minimum, you're going to start adding some things, right? So here, like for this one, it's got a gallery, different images. But maybe you want to drop some of your images in here. You determine if you want to create a new folder, whatever, right? You can do that. And then also it has main CSS here as well. And I'll show you something here in a minute on that because you can make some changes. And the biggest one, important one, here's the index.html. This is basically the home page. And I do want to also stress that you're going to want to make sure you have an index.html, because what we're going to do is once you have this and once you complete whatever template you use, or if you decide to just do custom Bootstrap, that is all right as well. But when you go ahead and commit this to your GitHub repository, what we're going to do is we're going to make that available via a link so that you can share that link and it will be that website itself, okay? And I'm going to I'm not going to show you that today, but the important thing is we're going to use what's called GitHub Pages. It's part of the GitHub repository, the GitHub Pages. And when you use GitHub Pages, the entry into your website has to be an index.html. So that's very important here. Okay. So let's just take a look. So this, we should be able to see pretty much the same thing we're going to be seeing that we've seen on the when we looked at the site, previewed that on the Bootstrap, on the Bootstrap made, right? That there was their URL. We were looking at that one. But for us here, we're running this on localhost, right? We're using the live server. So here's the, so as you can see, this is a single page website. And so there are your options on that. And so this is similar. So maybe this is something. So obviously you're going to have to take and, you know, rip a lot of things out of something like this and add your own, right? And, you know, that's all part of the process if you use a pre-made template, right? So you'll have to grab some of the content, figure out where it makes sense. You can delete whole sections that doesn't make sense as well, right? You don't have to keep all of this, right? It's up to you. Obviously, your navigation is going to be different. You're not going to have buy tickets or anything, right? So everything, and also remember, everything needs to work. You can't have just fake stuff that, you know, you click something and nothing happens, right? And so obviously it's got to be relevant to the Belleville Running Club, right? It's only going to work on the links that we're going to be using here, right? All right, let me get back to this one. So the next thing I kind of wanted to just show you here real quick is, so we're looking at this, we see this. So what you can do is you can make some custom changes here. Let me show you what you can do here. So the CSS, you go to this main CSS, and for this you can see it's got background colors. And actually, let me go ahead and do this. Okay. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. All right. So here, like this got a background color, and just, you're not going to want to do it like what I'm doing here, but I'm just making a point here. You can change these colors, right? You've got different colors here. You got these root colors. And so you can change, here's for navs and for hovers and all that. You can change all of this, okay? So let's just, for the heck of it, we'll change this to blue. Obviously you don't want that, but you want to kind of be consistent. So you really want to use the hex colors. I was just doing that, see how that changed. So you can change any of these colors and it'll change for this as well, right? Maybe you want to use colors that is similar to this. Probably maybe some oranges, something that's kind of similar to the icon in a way, right? So, you know, may not want to veer too far from that, but that's up to you. Whatever you can make look good, you know, use your skills and any kind of design you want. So I don't want to limit you in that, but just kind of making a point here. And so really though, like I said, though, you don't want to use these named colors. You really should use be consistent, use the hex ones, figure out the right ones, right, and use those. But you can change those, okay? So that can be very helpful. Lots of ones you can change here, okay? So that's how you can do that. And that's for that template. There's some other sites as well. Something you need to be careful about, though, is if you come out here, these are going to be probably all checked from the beginning. You know, you're not going to want to use, you're really just wanting to use Bootstrap. This is about Bootstrap. But you don't want to use Angular. You're not using Angular, right? We're not using Vue, right? You probably don't want to do Pro either because you're going to pay for that unless you're interested in paying for something, and that's fine as well. But here we just want to do HTML and free, right? So you need to watch what you're kind of downloading a little bit because you don't really want to be using a lot of other technology, you know, too much stuff that you don't understand what to do with it. Okay. I'm okay. If you can figure things out, that's fine. But just want to kind of keep that in mind. Um, you're really wanting to do a bootstrap HTML template, and that's about it. If there is a Bootstrap has some of that built-in JavaScript, as we kind of seen anyway. So a lot of that will work. I don't think I really didn't. Let's see what we see for here for JavaScript in here. No results for JavaScript there. That's good. It does have some JavaScript here. Let's see what it's doing here. So, it's using a little bit of JavaScript as well. So it's fine for you to do that. I just wouldn't get into something that's really complicated too much that you don't understand. There is a little here on that one. But just wanted to point that out. This is more for toggling. Toggle, preloader, scrolling, just some basic functionality, a countdown timer. But okay, hope that didn't confuse you too much. But you want to be careful that you're not using a whole bunch of other technologies besides just the basic Bootstrap and HTML for the most part. But that's another site that's possible. Like I said, though, I really like this one just for the fact that it's built with Bootstrap, latest versions. And, obviously that's not the only template here. There's other ones as well. And there might be something that you're interested in as well. You may just want to start. Let's see what this looks like. So this one is another, a single page one. It's just doing a portfolio. So, maybe you like something like this, right? There's nothing wrong with this as well. But, you change it for your purposes for the Belleville Running Club. So a lot of this could be redone. Don't feel like you have to use the event ones. There are probably a lot of similar ones in a way. They probably just, some people who make some of these templates, they'll make one for one, and then they pretty much use the same thing almost, and just make some changes so it can be in another category as well. So something to keep in mind here. And then here's called Theme Force. This is another one, but I would watch some of them. Some of them, I think I searched for Bootstrap 5 for this because some might be using some really old, like here's Bootstrap 3. You don't want to use a Bootstrap 3, right? This one here, the Belleville Running Club, is actually, let's go look at it. It's actually using, we have it in here. I know it's in here. I might have just opened up the, here. So I just clicked on the min thing. So here you're using Bootstrap 4.3, right? So this is kind of an older version. We're much past this. We're at 5.3.8. Okay. So, I try to use, that's why one thing, saying it again, I apologize, but this Bootstrap made one, they're very recent versions of Bootstrap. So that was kind of a good thing on that. So I'll send you this link to these other ones if you're interested as well. Okay. So here's the rubric for the midterm. And this is going to be 2 hands-on tests. It could be equal to 2 hands-on tests. So, this will impact your grade significantly. This is going to be kind of a competition thing as well. And even if you're really not wanting to compete, well, basically what it's going to do is we're probably Mr. Gagelman and myself. Mr. Gagelman's doing the in-person course, the in-person session of this course, downtown St. Louis campus. And so him and I will just kind of be looking through the websites, and we're going to pick out what we think are kind of the best ones. We feel that are the best ones. And then we're going to be passing that along, and it'll eventually get to Belleville Running Club have some kind of like a board, just a a few different people that are on the board there to make decisions on things. So it'll eventually, if yours gets to that point, it'll get to them and they'll kind of make a decision on the best one. Um, but don't get worried about the whole competition thing if you feel like yours isn't good enough. But you're still going to have to do this for the grade, right? Your grade, you could actually get a very good grade on it. You could get an excellent grade on it and not be the one that's selected. So don't feel bad about that, and or don't get all concerned about that. You need to do this for your grade because it's going to impact your grade a lot. So you're still going to do this no matter um, you know regardless of the whole competition thing. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I am going to probably be making some changes to this a little bit, to this rubric. Um, but just kind of a lot of this is just kind of the basic stuff that we've kind of learned and already done to for the most part. Basically, using your doc type and your structure and your semantic HTML and valid, well-formed HTML. No broken tags, proper nesting, just all your basics here, right? Proper use of your Bootstrap components. You created them correctly. Nav bar with working navigation links. Don't have anything on your nav bar that don't. We did a lot of sample assignments that we didn't really have links to anything. Well, for this, everything needs to have a link. Everything needs to be working and have a link. Content accuracy. It does have a Google map in here, so we want to kind of keep that stuff. So basically all the basic stuff here. Make sure responsive design. So obviously Belleville Running Club here. Let's make this a little smaller. And so you've got your responsive design here, right? So out of the box, though, you should also see your responsive design for the Bootstrap templates you have. Should probably work out of the box there on that. But you're going to want to make sure that you have different one based on that. Some of the stuff might not be as good. I think that this isn't a great design. You probably could do better than what's going on here. This isn't very responsive for. This doesn't look that great actually for a mobile mobile viewport. So I think and with the later versions of Bootstrap, I think you can make that look a lot better. So remember about the CTA is a call to action. You got some buttons there for the call to action, which is this is your call to action, right? Either join or renew, or buy BRC gear. Them are the two call to actions, right? Maybe you can put them side by side, look a little different. I think you can make that look a little nicer. Not that I'm criticizing this, this is a nice looking site as well. But Bootstrap's made some progress. There's more functionality and it's gotten better, so you could do more with it than what you could have done 5-6 years ago when this was made. But the important thing is, you just kind of want to kind of keep all of the basic content here, and so I kind of just listed that. Don't get too confused by this, but it's just kind of you still want to kind of link to the same content. And I know that I will find out about this if Mr. Gudmestead, who's the director of the department for us, see if he wants to kind of keep this. For now, just go ahead and keep this like it's, even though this already happened for now, because I don't know if they have a new date for the 2026. I'll find out. If so, it's going to be easy, quick change for that. So I just stick with what's kind of here. Okay. But I may make some changes to this rubric. I promise I'll let you know what changes it is, but it's probably not going to be anything substantial. So basically, you're just wanting to do, you want to follow all the things you learned as far as the using the tags correctly and making sure everything works, and you indent, you comment things, all the kind of things that you've learned throughout throughout this course to this point. So just basically all of that, and that everything basically working, right? So that's the important thing here. Okay. Um, but I'm going to take a little bit more of an in-depth look at some of this and make sure that we want to keep all of these or not. So I hope some of the stuff I went over is going to help you a little bit. I think that, like I said, starting out, you probably just want to go take a look at the Belleville Running Club website, view the source, grab what assets you can. Okay, grab what assets you can, and start looking at, maybe sketching out a little bit of a design. Okay, you kind of did that early on in this HTML course anyhow. So sketching out a little bit how you want to design things, how you want it to lay out. Um, See if you can find some templates that kind of match what you want to do, and then just go from there. So that's kind of all I have. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, and have a good day.